So, the first part of this last section right here is going to be just surviving as the molten rock and lava comes in behind us. Which again is kind of finicky because the jump with the Seraph shoes, you can't really control it once you make the second jump. Like, you kind of can, but you better make sure that you are where you want to be in midair, in position, whenever a new one is just created. Because, again, if you float too far off, the Forgotten One will see you, and since he's at full power, he'll just use, like, his vaporizing palm or whatever in order to just wipe us off the face of the earth, or off the face of the dimensional prison. I don't really know, man. Since when have we really had, like, platforming challenges like this in this game? And this is an especially bizarre segment right here, too. So we have to grab this pillar right here. I know we just played peekaboo with him, I guess. I don't really know. Okay, I think we're gonna need to go to the left first, or is it the right? I forget. Okay, yeah, it's gonna be left. Get over here. It's gonna look like red. Okay, no. There's nobody here. And now we just do the same for this side. Again, stealth was not a thing in this game. Why now? I don't really get it. And quick time events to the very end. At least they're not that hard. And now we just ride this thing slowly. Now, you see that skeleton right there, right? I don't really know how a Brotherhood skeleton got right there. Oh, it's in the dimensional prison. But you can't actually jump and get it. I tried several times when I was practicing this thing up, and it didn't work. What I think you have to do is that we have this segment coming up right here. Wait for it, wait for it. Now we jump. Yeah, this segment right here where the flaming skeletons spawn. Look at that, okay. And I already hated fighting the skeletons as it is, so flaming skeletons, forget about it. I don't have time for that nonsense. I could go back and get another crystal, I guess, in order to beat them down, but I don't have patience for that. I'm ready to be done with this. So I think you have to beat those guys in order to get that skeleton, but I don't really care, so here we go. Final battle of the game. Alright. Time to end this, everyone. And boy, is it gonna be a doozy. I'm gonna try to explain it as the battle goes on, but if I get distracted, you'll have to forgive me. This is a pretty technical fight. I think I've got most of the moves memorized. And I still do have all my magic. I'm not gonna be using it until, like, the very last stage of the fight, though. If everything goes according to plan. Although with the checkpoint system, like, there's no reason to not use the magic until the very end, since you can just restart from a checkpoint. And you'll get half of your magic back always, but you won't get half of your health back, but you won't get your magic back, so it really incentivizes not using the magic until the last little checkpoint you get. Again, very, very strange. That's pretty cool, though. Make use of your gauntlet. Ooh. Again, I really wish that we had, like, super vampire powers now to really illustrate how Gabriel has changed. We already know that he, like, supposedly has a bloodlust now or something like that, but it's not really reflected in our gameplay so far. Okay, so here we go. So that's the hardest attack right there. Like, it is very far-reaching in scope. It doesn't do, like, a huge amount of damage, but it's by far, like, the hardest attack to actually dodge. So, how hard the fight is, I think, is kind of directly proportional to how often he's going to use that move. This jump right here, as soon as you see the shadow, you have to do a dodge roll, and then you have to jump. If you don't do that thing in that order, with that timing, you are gonna get hit, and it's gonna hurt. See, right there, I don't really know how to dodge that. Again, you cannot block it. The Forgotten One's attacks, every single one of them, are unblockable. So he has pretty much two types of attacks. He has long-range attacks that we're seeing right here, and then he has his close-range attacks. I think the long-range attacks are probably a whole lot more... crap. That attack are kind of like more difficult to dodge in most cases, honestly. So I try to stay as close to him as possible, in order to make sure he doesn't do any long-range attacks. And also, you can't. So this attack right here, yeah, that's gonna be the best attack for a reason we'll see later. Really no room to actually guard that. So what I'm trying to say is try to stay close to him because you can do the most reliable damage that way. And also, I think he does the least amount of damage to you too. So he's got two kind of like shockwave attacks. One where he like reaches up into the air and calls one down, and one where he has like a spike or something, like a pillar or something. So whenever you see that, that's your yeah, that, well, I guess he can also just stomp the ground too. He's got a lot of attacks, like a lot. So you gotta really like watch out for that. And we're still not doing any damage whatsoever. It's really annoying. And that's why this fight can also just kind of drag on and on and on, and I triggered a long range attack there. No good. But you really have to watch out for it. So he has the taunt right there. So that's usually good enough to get like one guillotine in. And that was the spike attack that I'm talking about. And I'm still, God, you see, look, I can reliably, at least at this speed, I dodge all of his attacks except that one swipe. I just don't know how to reliably do it. And if he does it over and over and over, where you're just kind of screwed, honestly. And that claw attack's like a non-factor. It really doesn't matter whatsoever. So I think the best thing you can do is just kind of like go the opposite direction of that slash. But again, it's not always going to be the most agreeable because the only place that he's vulnerable in is going to be, at the moment, that side of him. So if you happen to be on the wrong side once you're trying to dodge, well, you're just out of luck, man. Get over it. Okay, there we go. First phase done. Didn't take a huge amount of hits. But for this one, I believe this is the rocks, right? And again, the game doesn't tell you what to do in this scenario. You just gotta figure it out. Okay, but we get over here, then we punch it back in. And now we can do the QTE to get onto the next form. Are you supposed to know that? I don't really know. That's just kind of, the rules change very quickly. Like, oh, now the only... And if you don't do that, you have to fight, like, you'll regain health and you have to trigger the event again. It is very annoying. And so... I know, I guess, okay, to the game's credit, I guess whenever, like, the health bar turns white, like, you know you have to do something special. But the thing that you have to do, especially when the punishment is having to fight him again when he regains health, I don't know, it just doesn't really sit well with me. We didn't have to do that with any other bosses, so why now? It's just doubly annoying. But here we go. So his moves do not change whenever we get to a new form right here. Pretty much the only thing that changes is that he just gets faster and faster, and I swear he takes less damage too. But okay, now the only place that he's available to hurt in is going to be that shoulder right there. And so I think now especially, like the guillotine is going to be the only way we can conceivably hurt him. Okay, get out of the way right here. Keep taunting. This is the last stage where he'll taunt too. So we can get in about one hit, followed by a little uppercut if you hit the square button again after that. But it's just kind of rinse and repeat after this, and I don't like that. If the boss is going to have multiple stages, mix it up a little bit. Like, don't just make me do the same thing, except, like, do it faster. No, I don't really know. But I think after we're done with this is when kind of the final stage will come in and I'll start breaking out the magic if I have to. And no, I'm aware that I could be using the orbs right here or whatever for sure, but the longer the fight goes on, like when you get to different stages, he's going to spew out fewer and fewer orbs. Okay, this attack right here. So he does that attack, and that's going to be the only way we can hurt him whenever we get to the last phase. But that's also kind of the easiest one to dodge, just going to hop up and get a few hits in that way. I still try to do a guillotine whenever you do that, just because it does the most amount of damage. But you have to be careful, because if you crash to the ground from that attack where he, like, swipes his two swords together, you'll get hit by it. And taking hits in this fight is something you don't really want to do. Okay, whew. Get out of the way of that. That one's really easy when it's just, like, the one swing down. Okay, come on. And yes, I could expedite this if I were to use shadow magic here right now. But trust me, I want to save all the magic for the last one, when he gets his last vulnerable point, because that's the one where this gets, like, really unbelievable. This is going surprisingly well so far. I thought whenever I had to talk over a lot of this, they knew it would not go so well. And also, like, combos really are not your friend in this fight, which is something else I'm not really a fan of. Although that was kind of a reoccurring theme in the game in the later stages especially. The enemies just got too fast to where any combos that you might have, well, you wouldn't be able to get them off. And you see I dodged too quickly right there, so I took the hit, because you gotta do it perfectly. God forbid you dodge a millisecond before you're supposed to. Right here we're already getting to where he is attacking a bit too fast to get, like any meaningful hits in between attacks, but we can still conceivably do it. Okay. Just keep doing that, man. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Ow. I love how I can already tell that I'm gonna take damage. I think it's also here, maybe it's just me, but I think it's also here where kind of the limitations of the control kind of betray the boss fight as well. Because Gabriel just feels a little too sluggish in order to take all these out unless you kind of preempt them. Like, it's already by nature a completely reactive boss fight, right? But it feels doubly more so when you get punished so quickly if you don't get it correct. And I think there is a fine line between being difficult or being challenging and then wasting my time. And the Forgotten One really rides that line, man. I don't like it at all. Okay, here we go. So the next little gimmick we have to do, again, haven't done anything in the game like this so far, is you have to aim and hit him with these spears, but you have to do it 3 times. And if you don't, he regains health, and you get to start all over again. Have fun. Of course, the last one's going to be the hardest one. Let's see if I can do it. Come on. I don't want to fight this guy again. I don't have the health. Okay, we got him. But at what point in the game did you have to pick up something and physically aim it? You, like, never. It's so weird. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But here we go. Okay. Last form. And of course, the last vulnerable spot is going to be right on the head. So freaking tall that you can barely hit it with any attack. I think the only way you can really hit him is if you do guillotines whenever he does, like, the double blade attack. And that's why I was saving all my magic for this part right here. And even then, I don't think I want to break out the magic until I can feel like, okay, I can actually handle this. So that's the last taunt he's going to do. He's going to do no more taunting for the rest of the game. And this is, so that attack right there is pretty much the only time we're going to be able to hit him from now on out, because the attacks are so freaking fast. Like, if you try to hit him in between attacks now, because you have to jump so high in order to get to his last weak spot, you're gonna take damage. And also, when he does the one attack where you can hit him, I think you have to do the guillotine or else you're only gonna get like 1 or 2 hits off. Because if you stay in midair for too long, he's going to very easily hit you. Yeah, you see it speeding up so quickly that I may just have to take a hit right there. So this last form right here, this is the one that gave me the most amount of trouble when I was practicing this up. My god, I don't want to think about how long I spent on this one. The major problem is that he takes so many hits already. You pretty much just have to wait for him to do that attack over and over and over. And whether or not you succeed pretty much boils down to, does he do the attack where I can actually hit him? Or does he do the attack which is very, very difficult to dodge and you're probably going to take a hit and lose your freaking combo? That one right there, what am I supposed to do about that? If I could guard that, that would not be an issue. What do I do? I don't know. Okay, I'm getting closer. I guess you just have to start further out, but I'm taking a whole lot of damage now. And he's not doing the attack where I can actually hit him anymore, which is very, very annoying. I'm going to start breaking out the Shadow Magic, though. Okay, next time he does the double plate attack, we're breaking out the magic. And here we go. Okay, I got in quite a few hits right there, but we still took damage, so like, who actually freaking cares? Okay, I feel like I can do this now. If I don't, it'll be a waste. I'll probably have to start the whole thing over. And that's a long-range attack. Okay, I was actually going the correct direction for that one this time. And I'm not keeping on the Shadow Magic because there's no point in doing it unless you can actually hit him, right? So I only like to activate it whenever, like, he does the one attack where you can get some hits in. I'm really freaking close to dying already. Come on. Okay, here we go. There we go, and that's pretty much the extent of the damage you're gonna be able to do against this guy. Anything else is too fast, and you see sometimes you still just take a hit because I started the guillotine combo a bit too fast. Or that could happen and you can just waste the opportunity in general. So I knew this is going to be a lot more difficult, you know, trying to do the commentary at the same time, but here we go, I'm going to do my best here. Okay, we almost got him. And try to exhaust the Shadow Magic before we go to the Light Magic. Or the Light Magic unless I absolutely have to. So now I need to do a bit more of a delay before I go in for a guillotine. He's using the attack a lot. This is actually, like, really good. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Like I said, whether or not you're gonna succeed, how often does he do that attack and how often does he do the other attack, that one? Or are you gonna get hit? Got so little damage, too, is the real frustrating part. Well, I've almost expended all of my Shadow Magic, so then we'll just go for Light Magic after that, just to keep my health up as high as possible. And I think we got this, unless I just royally screw the pooch here. Ugh. You see, that's not the same as, like, a really hard attack. It's more like a closer range attack. We almost got him, everyone. Oh, God, he's doing it so often, man. Why didn't you do this in any of my practice runs, man? Okay, so I'm gonna start using Light Magic whenever he does that now. Oh, that's gonna be a long-range attack. And that one's the hardest one to dodge, too, if you're really far away. Luckily, I was close enough to where that wasn't really an issue, but... Okay, here we go. Oh, no! It's on the outside! Crap. Okay. That'll trigger another long range. Let's try to get in close again. Oh, God. I'm gonna screw this up at the last second. Oh, God, it kind of feels like it. Okay, here we go. Still took hits. Oh, my God. Why does it do so little damage? I'm a freaking vampire now. Okay. Come on. I don't even know if that last hit of the guillotine, like, in order to avoid taking damage, you're not going to get that last hit of the guillotine in. I think I might, like, want to do it at this point, but, oh, come on, dude, how many hits? Like I said, a fine line, in my book, there is a very fine line between wasting my time and challenging me, and I feel like, at least on normal difficulty and above, kind of feels like you're wasting my time here. But okay, I believe that does it. Man, oh man. Rant over. We did it. I'd never have to play this again.
You cannot triumph here, fool. You have no comprehension of what you are up against. The seal is open. I'll enter your world now. It will be reduced to ashes, and I shall inflict 10 times the pain and suffering that were inflicted upon me when I was imprisoned by your brotherhood. I'll let you live, so you can witness your complete and utter freedom at last. No, no, no! Mercy, my liege. Mercy.
Such a cool moment, right? Like, such a cool, awesome story moment that really bridges the gap between, well, just kind of answers all the questions that you may have had after the prologue when you beat the main game. So, Gabriel goes to the Forsaken Sealed World or whatever. Not only does he have to become a vampire in order to physically go there, he steals the Forgotten One's power like the most powerful demon in the history of forever, and then decides to completely forsake his humanity as a result, crush his combat cross, the vampire killer, with his own hands, and teleport back to the real world. What an awesome, badass moment that really kind of explains the the wicked twist that happened at the end, the ultimate subversion of Castlevania, with a Belmont becoming Dracula, declaring himself the dragon, far more terrible than thee, even bringing out Dracula quotes. Well, I guess that was a Richter quote, technically, early on, but you know what I'm saying. I really wish that segment, and that those story beats had been more naturally incorporated into the main story. Imagine if that's how the core game had actually ended. Not only would you have not had to buy the DLC in order to make more sense of what's going to happen in the future, but I think you would have gotten a far more like, whoa, type of ending. Maybe the reason they did it is because they really wanted that shock value epilogue after the credits or whatever, but I think an ending like that would have been far more beneficial, far more shocking, and far more satisfying, really, within the context of kind of the greater universe of Lords of Shadow, as we're going to see in the next two games. It's just really unfortunate that Gabriel becoming a vampire, forsaking his humanity, and getting the ultimate power of the Forgotten One was regulated and delegated to DLC, and not very good DLC, if you ask me. I don't think that had to be tacked on to the end of the main game. And I mean, here we are just staring at the screen. We don't get any credits or anything like that, but that's the end of Castlevania Lords of Shadow, everyone. I wanted to include the DLC kind of in the ending of the game because it's important for the chronology of the rest of the series in order to understand what's going on. Not only to understand why Gabriel is so powerful beyond that of just a normal vampire, because he has the Forgotten One's power, but also how he arrived at finally forsaking his humanity, because he literally did by becoming a vampire and exploring that and really just seeing his mental state as we got to see with those introductions to those chapters and things like that. It's very, very important, and I wanted to show it, and, you know, I'm glad I did from a story perspective, not so much from a gameplay one. But that is all for Castlevania Lords of Shadow, regardless of how I feel about the DLC for the main game and just all the events leading up to the actual ending of the main game. I really, really enjoyed it. I think objectively it's probably the best one of the trilogy, not my personal favorite, but I said all that during the credits when we got the original ending. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, just wanted to add the DLC, even though it may not really feel like a true finale, but hey, I've already said my piece. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and next time when we get back to the Castlevania Lords of Shadow series, it will be not Lords of Shadow 2, it's going to be Mirror of Fate, which is the Chain of Memories game that bridges the divide between Lords of Shadow 1 and Lords of Shadow 2. And just like Chain of Memories in the Kingdom Hearts series, it's a very important entry, and actually my personal favorite of the three. I kind of like the way it plays as it goes back to more of the Metroidvania-y roots of the series. So, one more time, thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time when we get to Mirror of Fate, this is Virgo, signing off.